Obsolete, Mr. Wordsworth.
Lie. No man is obsolete.
It's a cookbook.
Who are we?
When will they take the bandages off?
You're a bad man. You're a very bad man.
Mr. Lemonsucker here. He's the most suspicious of the bunch.
My name is Talking Tina, and I'm beginning to hate you.
I believe you're going my way.
Live from Willoughby at the heart of the Twilight Zone. Here are your hosts, Alex and Tyler, the prestigiously perfect podcast in which we call The Twilight Zone.
How do you do? You gentlemen, of course, know how to push a product. That essentially is your job. My presence here is for much the same purpose, simply to push a product. To acquaint you with an entertainment product which we hope and which we rather expect will make your product pushing that much easier. What you're about to see, gentlemen, is a series called The Twilight Zone. So now the ham walks off to allow the real object and point to entertain you. The pilot show of your series. Earl Holliman, James Gregory, starring in Where Is Everybody? So, gentlemen, please sit back and take your first trip into the Twilight Zone.
What is up, everybody? I'm Alex.
And I'm Tyler.
Welcome to the Twilight Gnome podcast. If it wasn't incredibly obvious which episode we are doing, what will we be doing this week, Ty?
This week, we are starting it all at the beginning with Where Is Everybody?
Season 1, Episode 1. Original air date, October 2nd, 1959. I believe there must have only been like 7 or 8 episodes in 59.
Yeah, if they started in October.
Right. This was written by Rod Serling and directed by Robert Stevens, who did 2 Twilight Zones, and now we have done his. Both very good. He did this and Walking Distance.
Oh, okay. Both
I'm gonna
pretty
give
early
it
season 1 then.
To Walking Distance.
I'm going to give it to this one over Walking Distance.
They're very close, though.
Not for me.
All right. We'll get right into it then, Ty. What was your favorite moment?
My favorite moment is the mirror shot when you think that it's just a normal shot, and then he runs into the mirror and he breaks it. I thought that was really cool. It reminded me a lot of like the amazing shot from Contact, where it's like turns from a normal shot into a camera shot. I really love it when they kind of like play tricks with your mind with like, oh, I think this is just a normal shot, and then like, no, haha, that reveal that this was all in a mirror the whole time. I like that.
That was my favorite shot as well, but I was thinking when you go back knowing that that's going to happen, the first time he walks into the theater, you see the stairs coming from the opposite direction. So when you see it that way, your brain should like be like, what the hell? Those are on the other side.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess just because you're watching a movie, you're watching a TV show, so like, oh, like maybe they just made a mistake or something like that. But yeah, for some reason you just don't pick up on it, especially the first time, and it's such a cool shot.
We have the technology to rebuild it.
Doctor, what have you created?
I am, for all intent and purposes, AI Serling.
So every week I put a prompt into ChatGPT, come up with a Rod Serling style intro, and I asked it, "Is you sure this is the best one?" And it assured me, so.
All right.
Here we go. Portrait of a man, an ordinary figure placed on an extraordinary stage. He walks a quiet road into a silent town, where shop doors stand open, meals sit half-eaten, and yet not a soul can be found. What he seeks is simple, a familiar face, a human voice, some shred of proof that he is not alone in a world that seems to have misplaced its people. What he will discover is not merely the absence of others, but the far greater weight of isolation, and the limits of a man's endurance, limits that will be tested here in the Twilight Zone.
Nice.
All right, so every week, Tyler and I come up with a few questions for each other, keep each other on our toes while watching said episode. I have 4 this week.
I also have 4. This was an easy one to make questions
very,
for.
very
there was
easy.
So many different things in the background that had a lot of,
I'll be very impressed if we don't have the same. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think there was just so many to pick from. I feel like we'll probably have 4 different ones.
It's even, so I'll go. How much for the clam chowder?
Ah, damn it, that was one of mine. Now I can't remember. I think it was 35 cents.
It was.
Okay. What brand of oil sits outside of the cafe?
It was 3 letters, right?
No.
Oh, no? Oh. Does it actually say like a lion's oil or something like that?
It says a name.
Shell.
Capital Oil.
Yeah. Guess I should have known they weren't going to go with a real one, most likely.
Yeah, probably.
How much money does Mike have?
I remember that it's American money. $20?
$2.85.
Ah, okay. What's the name of the mannequin company?
To begin with a P?
No.
An S?
No.
Ah, dang it.
You can go through all the letters of the
B?
alphabet. No.
Oh. C?
No. It starts with an R if you want the starting letter.
It was a weird word, like Rachelins or something.
Resnick's store mannequins.
All right. How much of a discount is there at the hardware store right now?
A 45% discount, right?
40%.
Okay.
Close.
I knew it started with a 4. My last question for you, how much is a comb?
5 cents.
7 cents.
Damn it. All right, and my final question, how much for a banana split?
That was 25 cents.
That was 40 cents.
Damn. How is that more expensive than a clam chowder?
I don't know. It's got fresh produce.
Clam chowder has clams in it.
Yeah.
And sometimes bacon.
I think that a lot of seafood like that back in the day was actually seen as like poor people's food.
Oh.
Do you know, like they used to make inmates eat
eat lobster because they thought, that was just kind of shit food.
Yep. But anyway, we will jump right into the plot of this one.
This one, I mean, other than the slight movement over him, it almost cuts immediately to Rod's intro. Like, we barely see anything other than a man walking down a road before Rod kind of starts talking to us, which I guess with this being the very first episode, he probably didn't know where to kind of insert himself into, so he was probably just like, I'll just start it, narration at the beginning.
But even though he did it at the beginning, it really doesn't seem like it's missing it later on. I do like it.
Yeah.
I believe, obviously, this was another very early episode. He does the same thing in Escape Clause. He jumps right into it.
The place is here. The time is now. And the journey into the shadows that we're about to watch could be our journey.
Very short and to the point, too.
Yeah, that's it.
Doesn't say this is this guy, this is what's happening. It's just you find yourself sometimes on life's crazy journey.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, again, being the very first episode, maybe he's just like, I'm going to let the episode speak for itself. So, yeah,
true.
Very unique.
The man that we later find out his name is Mike. Or do we? It says that in the credits, but I don't believe anyone ever calls him Mike.
No, we get the name Mike Ferris at the very end once we realize that
I know we got the Ferris, but I didn't say it.
It says Ferris first, and then later on someone calls him Mike when they're talking directly to him.
So anyway, Mike sees a cafe. I'm going to refer to him as that, so there's no, dude bub chief guy here.
You can call him Mike, yeah.
Mikey.
Mike
sees a cafe / gas station. He goes inside. There's some cool jazz music. He walks up to the counter and asks, hey, where's the nearest town? And he makes himself at home. He goes right behind the kitchen looking for somebody. Hey, got a customer out here?
He immediately sees an empty diner, calls out, and no one answers. So, I'm just going to jump behind the counter here.
He goes, makes himself a thing of coffee and shit. You see the percolator? You think there was a fish in that?
There's a fish in the percolator. Well, first he opens the back door to see if there's anyone out back. There's no one out back, but it kind of looks like someone must have obviously just been here because, to your point, the coffee pot is on and steaming, so clearly someone was just there, right?
You would imagine so. It's at this point that he clumsily knocks into a clock and breaks a clock, which is very important, kind of.
The first time I watched this, I didn't even remember the clock breaking at the beginning, and then upon rewatching, I was like, oh.
But it's still not a very good payoff.
Yeah, they could have done a better payoff, but I still like the idea of, the clock that he breaks in his imagination is an actual real clock in the little, what would you call it, the test area he's in,
I suppose.
Isolation chamber.
Hey, you got a customer out here. Ham and eggs over easy hash brown. Hungry cash customer. I got $2.85, American money. Sure, American money. Well, we got that much settled. I'm an American. You see, there's some question about my identity. Let me put it to you this way. I'm not sure who I am. But I got $2.85 and I'm hungry. That much is established.
A little clunky trying to establish a character in his thoughts when he's by himself because there's no one for him to like talk to. Because normally in any other situation where there's at least multiple characters, you can kind of have one person ask them like, oh, who are you and what are you doing? But in this case, there's just the one guy, and normally these would all be things he's thinking in his head.
Yeah, like in a book it would make sense. But
yeah, because they could do it all internally, but it seems a little clunky. Yeah, I get it.
I guess you could have done it with narration.
Yeah, you could have done it with...
Do you think that would make this episode better?
I think, yeah, maybe having Rod's narration, but then it might be a little too silent then. Because, I mean, other than calling out to people, what point would he have in...
He talks a lot in this episode.
He does talk a lot in this episode, but a lot of his talking is just to...
But I guess this would be his mind, so he could be thinking stuff 24/7.
Yeah, I guess a better way to do this would be have like not have his lips move, but like hear his
definitely.
inner thoughts.
Yeah.
Something like that would probably be better. When you said narration, I thought you meant like have Rod
have
tell
him
us everything
do
about
a voiceover
him.
for like in his head, like what's going on in here.
Yeah, I think that'd probably be the best way to go about it.
What do you think about Earl Holliman as an actor here? I think he's a good choice for this.
I think he's a really good choice for this. I think he definitely nailed the performance here.
He keeps saying, I'm going to wake up now. I'm going to wake up now. And then we go to our first commercial. When we get back, Mike is leaving the cafe. Do you notice he switched the thing to closed?
Yeah. And then he's walking into the town that he knew was up ahead. And when he gets there, the town's just as empty as the cafe was, except there's a clock chiming.
I wrote this down. This really fucked with me. I don't know what the heck was going on, but when he comes out of the cafe/gas station here, obviously this is in black and white, and if it was a perfectly blue, clear day, it would just look like a white background. So it kept getting me all tripped up every time he's outside, just thinking like he's like in like a purgatory or something like that, because it just looks like a white background.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
It's very odd.
I mean, maybe they were trying to play with that whole idea because this is all in his head. He's not physically in this town, so maybe that was intentional.
Yep.
That he's walking into this town. And did you notice it's the same one from Black Leather Jackets?
And Back to the Future?
And Back to the Future.
He walked into Hill Valley.
Yeah, I mean, this
Marty!
This set must have been used for so many things.
Oh, yeah.
But
they used it a lot. Yeah, so Mike checks out a few places. Anybody here? He thinks he sees someone in a car. Excuse me, miss?
He talks to her for quite a while. The way they framed this shot was quite clever by hiding her behind him, because the big reveal is that it's not actually a woman, it's a mannequin.
The only problem is that he'd be looking right at the mannequin walking towards it like,
Yeah, I'm confused whether he knew it was a mannequin the whole time.
I'm in the camp that he's trying to convince himself, is it because the alternative of it being a mannequin's actually scarier?
Because there's an obvious moment when he opens the door and the mannequin falls out that he would have to, like, at no point can you delude yourself any further, but he still talks to her as if she's real. And I didn't know if it was just him like making a joke with himself, like, oh, haha, like, I can't believe.
Do you notice his witty pun too when the mannequin falls out? He said something like, oh, don't worry, baby, I won't cop a feel, or something like that.
Oh,
something to the effect of that.
I know he said something about like, I actually like the quiet shy girls. I know he said that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Maybe he didn't, but in my episode he says, don't worry, baby, we won't cop a feel or something.
But like, I was wondering the whole time, I'm like, obviously from a distance across the street, maybe he could have accidentally thought it was a real person, but then the moment he gets close enough, especially the moment that he opens the door, he would have known it wasn't a mannequin. So was he just joking with himself and like making light of, oh, haha, I can't believe I thought you were real? Or has he genuinely cracked to the point where he thinks that this mannequin...
I think he's, like I said earlier, I think he's afraid of admitting reality, that he is alone, and he's kind of trying to play it off, trying to convince himself that it's a real person. He then sees the mannequin vehicle there. He goes and sees if he's got a key for the ignition. He's like, oh shit, ain't no key for the ignition.
I want to drive the hell out of this town if possible. Kind of a lot like the very first episode that we watched here on the Twilight Gnome with Stopover in a Quiet Town, where they're kind of looking to see if any of the cars will actually get them out of the town.
And then we get a cool panning shot. We get two cool panning shots in this, but this is our first, and it starts at the right and it goes left, and we see a phone booth. He runs over to the phone booth and he's like, hello, but there's no one there. he hangs up the phone, picks it back up, makes a call. Did he actually put some of his money, so now he doesn't have his $285?
Yeah, he put some money in, at least some of the metal change. You can hear it like clink down the
And then we
phone
have
booth.
a recording. It's like, oh, we're the operator here. Please hang up and call again.
And he tries multiple times to keep trying to talk to the operator, thinking it's a real person, and then eventually gets the line of, this is a recording.
Right. Again, I think that's more into the camp of, like, he's trying to convince himself that this is reality.
Yep. But then at this point, he finds the phone book, and he's looking through it, tearing through all the pages, reading everyone's names, and he's like, look at all these people that are in this phone book. Like, they must exist. They must be in this town. Why aren't they here? And then he tries getting out.
He gets kind of paranoid at this point, which kind of would be creepy.
Yeah, he's walked into not only just a cafe that was empty, but a whole town that's empty, and now he's starting to freak out. And
he tries to get out of the phone booth, but he fucks up.
This part I really liked, where he was trying to get out of the phone booth, and I think the phone booth is supposed to be like representing
you're the gate or what is it, like you're the warden to your own cell and you have the key.
No, like he's literally in real life. He's actually trapped inside of a very small contained space.
But it's something he can get himself out of.
This is kind of his. This is just sort of like the real world coming into his imagination. Like maybe he's like feeling the constraints of where his physical body is, and that's kind of like like when you have a dream. Yeah. Like I remember one time me and you were kids, and you were rolling up your socks into balls and throwing them at my head. But my dream was that I was sitting in this like white room in a classroom, and this like kid across from me was rolling up crumpled paper and throwing that at my head. Like somehow things from real life can kind of bleed in to your dream.
Right.
So maybe something like that's going on here where
we'll have to put this theory to the test. We'll have to have a sleepover, and I'll put hot dogs in your mouth while you're sleeping.
Like, oh God, what is happening in this dream?
I had the weirdest dream last night. Yeah, he gets all paranoid. He tries to open the phone booth, but he's like, oh, some fucking, you guys locked me in here. But he was just trying to push a pull the whole time.
Was it? I genuinely thought it might have been actually like just kind of like the Twilight Zone kind of like fucking with him. Like,
no, it was definitely because when he came into it, he slides it open.
Yeah.
So that was what I was talking about earlier about the whole like you're the prisoner, but you also have the key. I forget what the hell someone says it very well.
I definitely think it's more in line with like his physical surroundings for his real body are kind of influencing this whole dream here that he's in, or hallucination, whatever you want to call it.
It's at this point he walks over to the police station. And he's like,
I have this feeling I'm being watched.
I always feel like
somebody's watching me. I thought you were going to do the SpongeBob reference where he's like, he's walking home and he's like, I feel like someone is trying to sell me something. And then there's the two salesmen hiding behind a rock.
That's a pretty fucking funny joke. Yeah, he goes into the police station. He goes right on the radio, which is actually pretty smart. Calling all cars if you wanted to get people here. Crazy man here at the police station. Come and get him.
Right? Like, at least, like, yeah, it's probably not great to do that in a real police station, but in this instance, like, what the hell's worse is going to happen? There's no one in this town.
Right. Wouldn't that be some shit the cops come in? All right, buddy, come on. We're all in church.
It'd be scary, but also a little relieving of like, oh my God, thank God I'm not crazy and there's actually people in this town. So it'd be both scary and relieving at the same time.
It is then that he notices some smoke from a freshly lit cigar, so he knows someone's there.
Again, similar to the pot of coffee that was boiling early, like it definitely indicates someone had just left this kind of area. It builds to the whole mystery of it all.
And for some reason, he checks the jail cell room, the detaining center.
Well, it's because he can hear the water dripping.
Yeah, but still, I don't know. It'd be weird going in there knowing that, especially the ramifications of if you actually did get locked in one of those and you were the only person.
But again, I think this whole thing is like he keeps getting himself stuck in these really small, tight spaces. So,
because he himself is
stuck in a small, tight space. Because when he goes in to investigate the water dripping, you notice like the door starts to almost close on him, and he catches it right before. Like this is definitely his mind playing tricks on him of like you're in a tight, very claustrophobic kind of feelings.
Yep. He walks into the cell, like I said, and then the door kind of starts closing on him. He runs out. It gets pretty tense. He decides to peace out of there. He runs to the town square, and he yells the line of the episode.
Iconic. They said the name of the episode inside the episode.
It is kind of fun when they do it.
It is fun. I do like that.
Mike's then walking down the town, and he hears a bell.
Down the town? Wouldn't you say walking down the street?
He's walking down the town. No?
Very, I don't know.
Walking down.
Colorful way to phrase that. I'm walking down the town.
I was thinking of Guar when he's just like, oh, how'd you get here? I didn't think I did. I thought I stayed still and everything just moved around me. That's fucking hilarious.
But yeah, as he's walking around down the town, he finds this diner.
He sees the drugstore and he wants to buy some drugs.
Yeah.
And he makes himself some ice cream.
I also liked this mirror shot too here, where he's like talking to himself, and his back is actually turned to the camera, and we're looking at his face through the mirror. And he's having this whole kind of conversation with himself. Which this is a great way if you want to have dialogue between just one character. Yeah, because in this way, like at least he's talking to himself, yes, but it makes sense why he'd be talking to himself because he's looking at himself while doing it.
Right. It was pretty good. And then he starts going into a bunch of Serling dialogue, though, which kind of like... I know he's probably not a dumb man, but like, again, the common man and Serling do not mix very well.
What did he say here that you thought was
he goes into pretty much like quoting Dickens and stuff like that.
Yeah,
like
but
line from line.
I enjoyed that. The little line bit, because I mean he's obviously quoting.
Remember Ebenezer Scrooge, old buddy?
Yeah, there's more of what is it? More gravy than grave to you, because the whole line is that he's like, obviously from A Christmas Carol. He's seeing the ghost of Bob Marley, and he's trying to explain away the ghost and why it's happening. He's like,
just a bout of indigestion.
Yeah, just some food poisoning. That's all. And then he's
to my uncle.
I liked this little reference that he's making within this.
Yeah, so he pretty much convinces himself it has to be what I had for dinner last night. But I've had it now. I gotta wake up.
I also like that he keeps saying, I gotta wake up. Like he's acknowledging that none of this can be real, and this is probably dreamlike, and good foreshadowing that this isn't real. Although it would have been a fun twist to be, oh, actually, this is real. You weren't dreaming. This is just a really fucked up situation. Could have been an interesting twist.
Yeah.
As long as they had an explanation for everything.
And he's like, I must be a very imaginative guy. I like this because I almost made this one of my trivia questions. I was going to be like, who's Manchester playing?
I was looking at that. I was like, there's too many things.
The basketball schedule. But
that would just be a mean trivia question.
He's like, yeah, I must have a good imagination if I could come up with this amount of detail. So it's almost got to be real. He goes over to the bookshelves, and there's only one book on all the shelves, The Last Man on Earth.
No, it's not. There's a ton of books in there.
There's one that's just full of it, ain't there?
There's one that's, has a lot of that on
it. There's one that's definitely exclusively just The Last Man on Earth.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of other bookshelves that have tons of books.
Maybe. I think I saw the To Serve Man one there.
I didn't notice that one. That's a clever...
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like, that's a 3 seasons ahead kind of, oh, God, we're going to make an episode called To Serve Man.
That's what we got to get a book. We got to get a bookshelf of books from the Twilight Zone. You get the Black Magic one from fucking...
Yeah?
What's it? There's quite a few.
Yeah, and then
you got the scrolls from Still Valley or
when
something.
You say the Black Magic book, are you talking about the one from the Bard or Still Valley?
The Bard.
Because Still Valley also has one that just says
2.
witchcraft on the front.
Yeah, and you can get the Black Magic one. What other books? You got Time Enough at Last books or something?
That's a lot of books.
You have to get David Copperfield.
Copperfield is what a terrible character.
Mr. What the hell's his name?
I don't remember.
Woodstrom. No, that's his name.
It was Murdstrom, I think. It was like Murder something. Murderstone.
Anyway, very off topic here. It's nighttime, and he's in the park playing tic-tac-toe, losing somehow to himself. And he
wasn't losing himself. He was just bored. Damn it, I lost again.
How does he keep doing this? The lights come on, and then he sees the Savoy Theater there. And it reminded me very much of Beetlejuice, didn't it? Like when the model starts flashing the lights and it kind of draws him in.
Yeah, I kind of see that.
It gave me those vibes hardcore.
But yeah, he runs to the over to the movie theater, and he sees that the movie playing is called Battle Hymn, and he's staring at the poster, and it's a picture of this Air Force man, and that's when he gets the realization that he was in the Air Force.
Air Force. Air Force. Air Force. I'm Air Force. Air Force. I'm in the Air Force. I'm in the Air Force. I am in the Air Force.
See, the stairs are this way this time.
Yep. He's very excited that he's in the Air Force.
He is. But then he kind of comes to the realization, well, if I'm in the Air Force, then there must have been a bomb or something.
I like this little logic train that he goes on, because he's like, no, there couldn't have been a bomb, because if there was a bomb, why would everything still be standing here? And it keeps circling back to, well, it must be a dream, because I can't think of any logical reason as to what's going on here.
The movie starts playing, so he yells up to the projector, hey, who's up there? Running the pictures. He runs upstairs. No one's there. Cool handheld shot. Do you notice that when it's peeking into the projection room?
Yeah, kind of a POV kind of shot.
They don't usually use the handheld things a lot.
No. And then
it's at this point
I was going to say, it's at this point that he starts running downstairs, and then we get the iconic mirror shot where if you're eagle-eyed like Alex, you would have noticed the stairs are backwards because we're looking in the mirror, and he runs into it, smashes the mirror to bits.
And this is where the canted angles begin.
Yep. I wrote down Dutch angles everywhere.
He runs out into the town, trips.
On a bike?
Trips on a bike? No, he trips twice.
Yes, he does.
That's the first time he trips. I was like, that's kind of goofy. And then he trips on the bike.
He's also running you can't see what my hands are doing.
It reminds me of like Cindy from Scary Movie running away from fucking what's his face.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like a comical run in the most silly way possible.
Right. And then after he trips on the bike, he has the most girly scream in the world. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah. The eye part kind of reminded me of The Great Gatsby. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but you know how there's always the eye of Dr. T.J. Eckelberg? You never read the books.
I did not. I was playing along. See how good I am?
Yeah. Yeah. For listeners listening in, we were just talking earlier in the day about how he never read any of the books in high school.
I did not. I faked it till I made it, baby.
But yeah, and there's a whole part about there's this billboard about this optometrist, and this is also an optometrist thing. So I was wondering, maybe that was a slight nod to The Great Gatsby somehow?
Maybe, or he could have been just terrified of optometrists. He was humiliated in an optometrist office.
Oh, I think in the case of this episode, it's supposed to symbolize he's being watched.
Yes.
Okay. I'm glad you got that.
I just was having fun with it.
Okay.
Didn't actually think he was humiliated in an optometrist office. I was afraid of optometrist office ever since.
They just kept laughing and laughing.
It's at this point he goes over to the crosswalk button, starts pushing it rapidly. Somebody, please help me. And it's very cool transition. It transitioned into a bunch of general guys watching him.
just watching him. But it is a cool transition because the button that he's pressing is fades into a very similar looking button within his
little chamber, isolation chamber. And then the general's like, all right, let him out of there. We see Mike pressing the button from inside, and his hand is hitting that broken clock, which doesn't really pay off or anything. I mean, it kind of keeps him grounded in reality, I suppose.
Yeah, because it's something from his isolation chamber bleeding into his delusion. Yeah. So
I think of something a lot cooler. A little taste here, and inside the Twilight Zone, I have an alternative thing that Earl Haldeman wanted to do, which would have been a lot cooler, I think.
But I like the idea that he supposedly had spent a day in this town, and if he broke the clock in the diner at the beginning of the day, this clock, he must have broken it in his chamber, unless time's not linear.
I would imagine it's like dream logic time, where
it feels like it's been all day.
1 second.
Yeah,
that he broke it.
Could be that too.
The army guys take him out of there, and they're like, "Oh, careful with his hand! That glass is broken." In case you missed it. They start taking all the electrodes off of him, and then the colonel talks, and I'll play some of this. This is kind of clunky because it's obviously
an exposition dump.
I feel like you don't have to do this nowadays, but in the 50s, they just had to explain everything.
I think this was helpful.
Did you get all the data recorded?
Yes, sir, every bit of it.
Did you get a timing on him?
484 hours, 36 minutes.
Good. I want to have a look at all the data as soon as it's compiled, and I want to see the reaction shot on him, too.
Yes, sir. The press, sir.
Oh, yes. On the run, gentlemen, if you don't mind, I want to see Sergeant first.
Do you consider this a success, sir?
Very much so. The man was confined alone in a box for something in the neighborhood of 484 hours. That's roughly equivalent to a trip to the moon, several orbits, and return.
I'm surprised neither of us picked that as our trivia question. How long has he been in there for?
No, I figured you'd do that, so I was trying to do other less obvious ones.
Again, we get a bunch of exposition dump on us here. The reporter's like, what happened? And the general's like, he cracked. But let me tell you something. If you were confined in that box, and your imagination would run wild as well. The general leaves to go see Mike. How do you feel? What was it like? He's like, I was in a town without people. What's the matter, Doc? Am I off my rocker? He's like, well, you see, we can feed the stomach. And he goes into like 6 analogies.
I mean, it's a good little bit.
We can pump oxygen into the lungs.
What would have been funny is if when Mike was asked, like, where were you? And he was like, I was in a town, except you weren't there, and you weren't there, and you weren't there.
And he's like, well, we can do all that, but we can't come up with a cure for
loneliness.
It's like kind of cheesy, but you think a astronaut like who's been trained for that and you know your missions that would still need those needs?
No, because you're not completely isolated. Like you're unless you're on the backside of the moon, you do have like connections and radio communication with people back on Earth. Like
Right.
None of the astronauts were like ever completely, again, like unless they're on the backside of the moon where they
Think they'd just be
can't
chatty
communicate.
Cathys because they're so bored up there. So how's it going?
Maybe. But also like
I'm getting radio frequencies. I can't hear you, Buzz.
this is also like 10 years before we actually got to the moon though. So like maybe they were expecting one person to go at a time instead of 3.
Right.
So I don't know.
Mike asks, so next time it won't be just the hangar, will it? He's like, no. Next time you'll actually be out there alone. And then he looks up at the moon. Cool shot. Don't go away.
The moon shot here, obviously they really filmed the moon because they couldn't get it in great detail. It just looks like a white orb. But did you notice like the stars around it? There's like a black smudge of like where it was like real film, and then they try to like superimpose it on like a picture of stars, like or like a drawing of stars.
I didn't notice that.
Like
I thought it was supposed to be like clouds over the moon. Is that what you're talking about?
No. So it's a clear night and the moon is just completely out, but there's like you can tell where it stops being the painting and where it starts being the real moon image.
I'll watch it.
Yeah.
See it.
Don't go way up there.
Right there. So like you can see like those other stars are not real, like because the camera wouldn't be able to pick those up. So what they did is they have like a matte painting behind it, and then they superimposed.
Oh, and it's like a perfect square.
Yeah, you can tell exactly where the square is.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. All right. I mean, in black and white, it kind of works, I guess.
I
picked
it up.
There are no stars anywhere near the moon.
I know. I picked that up immediately. Like, there's no stars near the moon, but there's stars right further out of frame. I just thought that was really
That's pretty cool.
Jarring.
Yeah, so he's like, don't worry, we'll be up there soon, which also, where we are all these years later, we know that they get there but in 10 years.
Yeah,
but
a little decade later.
They were still trying in 59.
Yep.
And then Rod takes us out.
Up there in the vastness of space, in the void that is sky, up there is an enemy known as isolation. It sits there in the stars waiting with the patience of eons, forever waiting in the Twilight Zone.
And that is our very first episode of The Twilight Zone. Tyler, what did you learn?
Careful where you run. Some hallways are actually mirrors.
Yep. We'll get right in. God damn it. That one made me laugh. All right, we'll get right into ratings. IMDb currently has this at a 7.9 out of 10. Do you think we're going to be on the same page?
I think we are.
You think we are?
Yeah.
All right, going to try at the same time?
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 8. All right. We know when we get a lot of 8s. Every time we agree on something, it's an 8. You notice
it's
that?
happened 3 times, yeah.
3? I thought it was more than that.
Yeah, I was just looking at the stats earlier.
Yeah. This is an awesome episode. I mean, obviously, I'm not putting it any higher than an 8, but it's a great episode. It's an awesome pilot. Very good choice for a pilot.
Yeah, great choice for a pilot. Great acting here.
Even the direction's cool.
Yeah, the direction's cool. Fun mystery, great explanation, and great message behind it. I mean, this is a perfect thesis of what the Twilight Zone is. Like, everything kind of comes together really well. So, great choice by Rod to make this the pilot.
Who are they? Where are they? What are they? Let's find out together in The Twilight Gnome presents Inside the Twilight Zone.
All right, this week we have Earl Holliman. He played Mike. He died last November at the age of 96.
Wow.
So not even a year ago.
That's crazy.
He was in Forbidden Planet. You remember him as the cook?
I do, yes. He got drunk, right?
Yes, he kept making Robbie the Robot make him whiskey because he could make anything apparently inside of his machine body.
Yeah.
He starred in a bunch of movies in the early 50s, and then by 58 started to do a bunch of like the Playhouse things, you know, like TV shows like Playhouse 90 and Studio One and Schlitz Playhouse, Goodyear Play, all those type of things.
Yep.
I wonder what those are like, because like the equivalent today. Do we really have anything kind of similar to those?
I'm not really
like
sure
every
what
week it'd be
Playhouse
different.
90 is.
Every week was a different cast, different story, kind of just little stories, an anthology series.
I mean, I guess like SNL,
kind of, but I think these were like actual like drama.
I know, but like a serious SNL.
Yeah. And then there's just lots of TV until the year 2000. I mean, he's been kind of quiet for the last 25 years.
You know,
or so.
obviously probably retired at that point.
Yep. James Gregory played the General. He was in one episode of MASH. Don't ask me which one because I don't know. He was in One Night Gallery, one episode of Star Trek, one episode of Hogan's Heroes, 2 episodes of The Twilight Zone. He was in this and The Passer-By. And then we have Paul Langdon. He played the Doctor. He was in 2 Twilight Zones as well, and we have done all of his now because he was also in On Thursday We Leave for Home. I think he played the guy that was like asleep on the job or some shit.
Oh, okay.
He was in a bunch of movies in the 40s and then TV in 1950s doing a bunch of the Playhouses, such as Earl Holliman. A little bit of trivia on this. There's actually quite a bit of trivia on this one, so buckle up. Rod got stuck in a phone booth at an airport one time, and it kind of reminded him, and he got like, he was doing it the wrong way, and like, oh shit. And he
so
said
that's why he...
And he said it was very embarrassing, and he kind of panicked.
Is that why he threw it into this? That's kind of cool.
Be kind of funny picturing Rod in the airport.
Right, freaking out.
Fuck.
Oh my god, I can't open the phone booth.
Although this was the first episode to air of The Twilight Zone, Rod had originally wrote a episode called The Happy Place, but because of its nature, executives did not want it. It was supposed to be more like a Logan's Run thing where like everyone dies at 60.
Yep.
That's what Rod had originally planned for the pilot of
How
The
old
Twilight
is
Zone.
Logan's Run? Would that have predated Logan's Run?
Oh yeah, Logan's Run was like 76.
Oh, okay.
Same lot used for Back to the Future and so many other episodes of this TV show and a bunch of movies. It shows up a lot. If you need a town square, if we ever make a movie where we need a town square, we kind of have to go there to be like, pay homage. That'd be pretty funny.
I think it's the, is it the Universal backlot?
I believe so.
Because when I went...
This was the only episode that was not made with CBS, because obviously it was a pilot, so they used Universal's backlot.
But yeah, I think when I was at the Universal backlot, I think they still have like the same town square and stuff like that. Obviously, people like change up the main facades and stuff for each.
Should have ran in it and where is everybody? Calling all cars.
I probably would have done more of a Back to the Future reference.
Holliman had a fever actually while filming this and still trucked on through. I think he gave a damn good performance of having a fever.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe it kind of helped the performance if he was feeling like...
Feeling the heat.
Feeling the heat,
Rod was not the original narrator for this. This whole story was pretty cool. So, originally they had this man named Westbrook von Voorhees.
Is that his real name?
Yes, I will play some for you in a minute. He did... like the first episode, and then he decided, nah, I don't want to do this anymore. So then they wanted to get this, Orson Welles.
Ooh.
But he wanted way too much money. So Rod was like, I guess I'll fucking do it then. He didn't really want to, which is probably why he kept it very short there.
Orson Welles would have been a good choice. I thought you were going to say, who's the guy that he doesn't sing, but in Thriller, he does like the talking
Vincent
part.
Price?
Yeah,
he would have been too young. He was like...
Oh.
He was like 50 in the 70s. He would have been like fucking 30 during this, maybe younger.
I think so. He's quite old in Edward Scissorhands. And didn't he... I don't know how old Vincent Price is. I feel like he would have been a fine enough age, but maybe he just wasn't famous at this point.
There is a 6th dimension beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow, and it lies between the pit of man's fears and the sunlight of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area that might be called the Twilight Zone.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
That might be called Yeah.
Yeah, just I don't. Maybe it's just because obviously we all are so familiar with Rod that it just seems weird to have anyone else doing that. But yeah, that just seems weird. Kind of reminds me of a Futurama when they do the Tales of Interest. There's a guy that always screams, "More tales of interest."
Maybe they're doing his because this guy did a lot of voiceover for that stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
Another really cool thing, like I had alluded to earlier, Earl Holliman had a really cool idea that when he rips a page out of the phone book, he put it in his pocket, and when he gets back to reality, that would fall out of his pocket, but Rod didn't like it.
That would be... yeah, I don't... It'd be neat, but it wouldn't... I don't know. There's no logic to it because then it's like, okay, so that really was real, and then what's the explanation? So I get why Rod...
I like it better. It leaves more... questions, which
I
prefer.
I hate questions. Like, it just answer the fucking story. Like, how did you get here? It was a dream. Okay, thank you.
In total, this episode cost $89,524. The director received $2,500, and the cast received $8,895.
What'd you say to me, Mike?
What's in a name, Mr. Benninger, really? It's a mere question of semantics. Just language. A mere stretch of words.
So every week, Tyler and I come up with a few alternative titles to the episode we are watching. You guys can play along as well in the comments. I only came up with one this week.
I only have 3, but they're a pretty strong 3. But if you only have 1, then...
I have...
Is it a debacle, or did you forget your debacle?
It's the deserted debacle.
Okay. I did the delusion... Wait, hold on. Yeah, the delusion debacle. And then my other 2, Soldier of Solitude... And my favorite, Me, Myself, and Isolation.
I didn't come up with any because I feel like this is the perfect name for this episode.
You don't like Me, Myself, and Isolation? Kind of gives away the ending.
It's funny, and it takes away from the tone of the show too much, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Where Is Everybody is perfect, I feel like, so I wouldn't dare touch it. Switcheroos?
Yes, I have several. How many do you have?
None. Like I said, this one's just...
you didn't do any?
It's perfect the way it is.
Well, with Switcheroos, we got The Lonely,
yeah,
A World of His Own, The Silence, Person or Persons Unknown, and Stopover in a Quiet Town.
Yeah, pretty good.
All right, so surprisingly not many references. You'd think where this is like the first episode that it would be quite iconic enough that a bunch of people would want to make references to it, but I kind of a struggle to find them. First off, we got the 1957 movie Battle Hymn is the movie that's playing in the theater that Mike runs into. So kind of like having a movie within a TV show here. And then we have a 1963 episode of Bonanza titled Twilight Town. Towards the end of that episode, the character Little Joe states, "Where is everyone?" As a direct reference to this show here. And then we have...
He just says, "Where is everyone?" He doesn't say everybody, like the name of the episode.
No, sorry. He says, "Where is everybody?"
Where is everyone?
No,
damn it, so close.
No, he says, "Where is everybody?" And that would the episode also be called Twilight Town. Like it was a very cheeky nod to.
It was around the same time too, so.
Yeah, this was 1963, so it was only 4 years after. So, and then last but not least, I got the 1998 movie Truman Show. In both, we see a man living a meticulously crafted and artificial, empty sort of environment life, with a sense of like this existential isolation despite being observed. So very kind of similar there. But that's all I got. Couldn't really.
All right, so every week Tyler picks the episodes, and he does so by showing me an AI-generated picture. I play a little game where I have to guess what it is. But if you can recall from last week, I know what these two have been, this week's episode and next week's, because they are smack dab in the middle, and we're going to have a little intermission report between the episodes. But next week's episodes, did everyone bet on the Bewitching Pool? See what we did there?
Yeah,
the first
and then the last. So
next week,
little kind of intermission. We're halfway through now. Thought it'd be a great way to see where it started, see where it ended. Now that we're at the halfway point,
right? So next week, the Bewitching Pool, terrible episode. Unfortunate that the whole series had to end on it.
It's not a terrible episode.
Pretty crappy.
It's just unfortunate that was the last episode.
Messages.
about to receive a message from the 5th dimension.
All right, so we got 2 messages this week, both from Rachel F. Rachel F says, finally, another sex fiend on the Kick the Can episode. Glad you're enjoying that segment as well. Always fun when there's a sex fiend hiding in the cast there. And Rachel F. also says, bread and butter is one of those old-timey superstitions, like step on a crack and break your mother's back. I always love when I see that in an episode. Now that I know that it's a thing, I'm just constantly on the lookout for it. So thank you, Rachel F., and keep those comments coming, Nomies.
Sex fiend.
All right, guys, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you could please continue to like and subscribe on the YouTube page, it would mean the world to us. If you guys have anyone in your life that you know likes The Twilight Zone or likes podcasts, send them our way. We'd love some new listeners. We really appreciate you guys listening. If you could also go over to the Facebook page, give that a like, because in the next week or so, you guys are going to definitely want to be on there, because we're going to be posting a lot of pictures, because the intermission is upon us here. So there's going to be lots of cool graphs and charts.
Who doesn't love graphs and charts?
I
They
personally
are fun.
like them a lot.
Yeah.
But so if you're into that thing, then check us out on the Facebook page. For any other reason, if you need to get a hold of us, you can email us at twilightgnome59@gmail.com. All right, Ty, my final question for you. I kind of already got into it with you, but what do you think of this as a pilot?
I think this is a great pilot. Like I said earlier, this kind of touched on everything that makes the Twilight Zone special. It has definitely that raw touch. It has a great mystery. It has a great message. It has that spooky feeling, and it just overall kind of checks all the boxes for what a Twilight Zone episode should be. Some of them are missing that spooky feeling. Some of them are like missing a point. But this one just kind of has everything that the Twilight Zone is kind of about, and so I think for that reason it made a great pilot episode.
I totally agree. Everything you said there. I have a part 2 to this question. Another episode from season 1, if you had to make another one, or were you still picking this? If you have all like 36 from season 1 to pick from to be the pilot, you still picking this one?
I mean, I have other favorites from season 1 that I probably like better. Like, I love The Hitchhiker.
So you also don't want to blow your load too early either.
Yeah.
Giggity.
I mean, if I had to, I don't know. I might keep this one. This one's it has a great reveal. Maybe The Hitchhiker, but like you said, you don't want to put like the best out there first. I also really love What You Need's a great episode that I think is highly underrated. So
that would be a very good pilot.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Those are the 2 that come to my mind, but I think I'd probably just stick with this one.
Do you think the whole idea of it being like a more like pro-America, let's get to the moon, beat the Soviets type of thing, helped them in getting this?
I think it being sci-fi-ish, having the sci-fi kind of twist of...
But you know what I'm saying? Like using that premise to like maybe the executives are more apt to, this is pro-America, I like this show.
I think
where if you start with something else, be like... What?
I think that might have helped sell advertisers on the show in terms of getting more of an audience. I don't think it would have had as much of a pull, but I think, maybe in terms of advertisers, it could have helped.
All right, well, until then, guys, next week, the Bewitchin' Pool, and then we are in the 80s. That's crazy. And stay tuned for our intermission report. Until then, Tyler, do you have anything to say to our dear, dear listeners?
Yes, thank you guys so much for joining us. First half down in the books. Looks so much forward to the second half with you guys. You guys are what makes it worth making all these. So thank you all so much for stepping into the Twilight Gnome with us.
It's 4 o'clock, the howling man is gone. Frisbee's telling stories,